I heard a rumor that the Lakers are shopping around Anthony Davis and trying to possibly get a deal done by Thanksgiving. Now, this is a report by Bill Simmons. Now, there's an argument that a lot of people are in an argument at this that Bill Simmons isn't technically a reporter. But let me tell you, Bill Simmons is one of the most connected guys in the NBA. Okay.
Yeah.
Just because he's not considered a reporter doesn't mean that he doesn't have inside sources. Trust me, he does. A lot of things that he has said have come to fruition because he kind of knows what's happening in the inner circle. So let me be clear by that. This was on his podcast on Monday. On Sunday it came out. I listened to his podcast every episode that he puts out there. And I was listening to this, and they were kind of going over, like, okay, if they are shopping him, what are they going to get for him? What are the Lakers looking to do? And I think that's the biggest question. It wasn't like, is it crazy that they're going to try and trade Anthony Davis? I think everyone is at the point where it's like, it's not crazy, but what are they going to get for it is what would be crazy. So, Cody, that's the question I'm going to ask you. If the Lakers do trade Anthony Davis, what do you think they will try and get, or what do you think they will get?
So I think what they're going to try to target is, I think they're going to still try to target the Nets, just because, just like what we talked about last week, how disorganized they are with the whole Kyrie Irving situation and, them firing Steve Nash. I think that they may use Anthony Davis as a trade piece to maybe entice getting Kevin Durant. I don't know how well that'll work, but yeah, I would like for that too. They could also reach out to some teams that may be looking to tank, that are willing to add in like a veteran piece to help grow a team and maybe secure some additional assets. I don't know if that means they'd secure a player or anything like that for the Lakers, but I think what I'm more surprised in is Anthony Davis would hold more value for sure in getting back assets. I don't know what team necessarily. Maybe Chicago is a team that stands out in my mind that might be willing to trade for Anthony Davis, and I don't know if that means maybe we can get DeMar DeRozan and a couple of other collection of players. That wouldn't be too terrible. The only thing is that wouldn't really solve our shooting problem. But I don't hate the idea. I'm kind of on board with it at this point. I think anything that's not LeBron needs to be up for sale, so to speak. Some part of me as a Lakers fan, though, that's a Laker, not a LeBron fan, is also entertaining. Like, maybe question if getting LeBron, trading away LeBron is also a better idea for the franchise, just because if we're so strapped for draft picks and grow our team and our future hangs on LeBron James, who's aging, continuously being injured, and we're still holding on to Westbrook for one more season. Maybe we look at that as well. But as far as like a particular team, I think the Nets are the only one that stand out for me for Anthony Davis. I know that if you go to ESPN.com, you can kind of do a couple of different trade scenarios for different players. I think in the offseason,
I'm going to do that tonight. I didn't know that.
I think in the offseason, I tried doing one with DeAndre Ayton. And that one was a little tougher because it required a lot of money to be exchanged. And I don't know if the Suns will do that, but I know that the Suns and DeAndre Ayton's relationship isn't the greatest. So maybe that's an opportunity. Maybe you use AD to get Chris Paul, who's aging. I don't know if the Suns are interested in that. That's just a couple of things I can think of off the top of my head. Maybe deal with Boston, who might be looking for some more interior help. But that's probably the only couple of ones that would really stand out to me if this does happen. And by Thanksgiving, we're talking 2 weeks away. So that's kind of crazier to think that how much different this roster is going to look by this time.
Well, I don't think it would be crazy in the sense of, I don't think this is new information. I think this is just information that has finally come out. Mm-hmm. In my opinion, I know nothing, but I don't know. Not nothing, but I don't know anything. Anyway, so I just feel like talks have been happening because I don't think the Lakers are that delusional to think, oh, we're never going to trade Anthony Davis. I think they're kind of already like, in the offseason, I think they were like, I don't know, are we really going to do that or not? And call me crazy, but I actually think, although I don't think Anthony Davis is as good as LeBron James, and although I don't think Anthony Davis is highly thought of as high as LeBron James, however, I do think that Anthony Davis actually would, if you traded him, I think you would actually get more in return than LeBron. And the reason I say that is LeBron kind of does have a timetable. Anthony Davis, although he does get injured a lot and he doesn't have that killer instinct in him all the time, I do, however, think that he has the talent to be an MVP type caliber player if he's healthy. And secondly, if he does stay healthy, he could play for another, I don't know, 7, 8 years, possibly. Whereas LeBron, you're kind of like maybe 3 years, maybe 4, if he can, keep up what he's doing. And so your future, especially if you're going to trade a lot of assets for it, I think you feel better about trading for Anthony Davis than LeBron James. Now, if you're a team that is trying to win now, then yes, you feel better about trading for LeBron James. But if you're like you're saying, you go to a team that's kind of rebuilding, I'm just going to throw Orlando out there, who they would never do it because I think they got who they want now.
Yeah.
But I just think that you could get a bigger haul for Anthony Davis. You could get multiple picks, whereas LeBron James, you could probably get 3 or 4, maybe first-round picks, and maybe a player back. But I think for Anthony Davis, you could argue you could get like 5 picks, maybe like 4 or 3 first-round picks, and then 2 second-round picks, and then get a player back as well. I would look at Indiana. I think Miles Turner has already said, "Hey, I would go there." Listen, I don't think that's that crazy. I think Miles Turner is a better shooter than Anthony Davis. He is a shot blocking center. He doesn't have that dog that Anthony Davis sometimes has. But I think at this point, it's kind of like, well, just let LeBron do it. I mean, he's already doing it anyway. He's running the team, so might as well get a guy who can be a spot-up shooter and hit some threes. And I had told you this on the Bill Simmons podcast. He was talking to Kevin O'Connor, and Kevin O'Connor posed this question to Bill Simmons. He said, out of the top 50 players who run ISO, who have had ISO plays, where do you think Anthony Davis ranks out of those 50 players? He ranks 48th in efficiency percentage, which means when he's playing ISO, he's not all that effective. So might as well get rid of him, get something in return. Now, I have been on the case for a long time, go after Kevin Durant. Now, they brought that up. They said that if they were going to get Kevin Durant for Anthony Davis, and probably Kyrie would be a package deal as well, and so you'd probably have to throw in Russell Westbrook or something like that. But if that's what you're going to do, it may not develop until the off season after this year. So they were arguing maybe possibly trade Anthony Davis for a bunch of picks, then in the off season trade a lot of those picks to Brooklyn, where you can then get Kevin Durant and all that. So they were kind of throwing out a bunch of different trade scenarios, but that was kind of that's kind of what they came up with, was probably get a big haul for Anthony Davis where you're just going to kind of tank this year, make those trades to get Kevin Durant and have KD and LeBron play.
I mean, don't get me wrong, I'd love that, but don't know if the NBA will allow it, because it's a funny season. Teams like Houston come to mind, the Spurs. They could be teams that are willing to give away draft picks for a player like that maybe could use a veteran big man who's relatively young, to your point. Yeah. But we'll see, man. I mean, I think it's more likely that the Lakers won't deal Anthony Davis, because I think it's early enough in the season to where, especially at Thanksgiving that they're still going to feel like we can probably make a run with it, especially now that they moved Westbrook to the bench. And he's actually been playing really well since coming off the bench. I've been really happy about that. And again, not trying to say that Westbrook is a terrible player. He's really great. It's just terrible the situation he's in. And, the LA market will literally devour you if you don't produce. And unfortunately, when you go through slumps that he normally goes through a season, it's very magnified because of the market that you're in. So I'm glad to see that he's flourishing coming off the bench. I'm just hoping now that it translates to more wins. So I almost feel like that the the Lakers may continue to ride this out to see what they have. Because at the end of the day, if they can't find a suitor for Westbrook, he's going to be a free agent. So we guarantee that he won't be a Laker after this season. Now, the question is, will he finish the season as a Laker or finish it as another member of a different team? I think the Lakers would only pull the trigger on getting rid of Anthony Davis if it was for a high-profile player such as Kevin Durant. I think anything less than that, they're not pulling the trigger. Maybe come the trade deadline, they may entertain it just because they may be too far gone and a contender may be willing to pay a king's ransom for Anthony Davis. But I don't see the Lakers giving up Anthony Davis at all this season unless it is Kevin Durant.
Yeah, I agree with that, but I will also say this: if Russell Westbrook keeps playing the way he does, I think there's a possibility that you could end up trading Russell Westbrook to sell high on him, and Anthony Davis to get a Kevin Durant and a Kyrie. And I know a lot of people are like, I don't want Kyrie right now, but listen, Kyrie is a better shooter than Russell Westbrook and Anthony Davis. So he already makes the Lakers better. Unfortunately, that's kind of how life is right now for the Lakers. It's kind of like, you're going to have to take the good with the bad. I think if that is the case, if they end up trading like Russell Westbrook and Anthony Davis to get Kyrie and KD, you may not have to give up as much as you think you would, because the way Westbrook is playing versus the way Kyrie has kind of had a year so far, you could argue that Westbrook has kind of found his groove where Kyrie is still trying to find it. And now he's suspended and, he's got all this other stuff that's going on. So, you could make the case that maybe they've been holding on to these first round draft picks, these, freshmen in high school draft picks right now. Maybe they only have to give up one of them, maybe they don't have to give up both, but we'll see. I mean, it's all speculation right now, but I think this would actually be a really smart move for the Lakers to try and move on Anthony Davis.